Hello everybody, this is Professor Rekha from Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, HOD, Department of Computer Science. In this today's session, we are going to understand the concept of correlation. When I say correlation, it means that we are going to understand the relationship between two set of series of data. It is one of the statistical device which helps to analyze the relationship or covariance between or variations between two series of data. Hence, by W.I. King, the correlation can be defined as correlation means that exists, that is the relation that exists between the two series or a group of data which has some similar connection wherein it can be related or it can be identified by each other. Hence, this is all about what is a correlation. So, today we are going to understand the correlations, the types of correlations, and also we are going to understand how do we solve the coefficient of correlation between the two variables. Here in this session I am talking only about the two variables or a bivariant variables because it has been confined to the second BCSM syllabus. So, I am confining to the syllabus, hence I am dealing with only a bivariant variables. And also, as I told you that we are going to understand about the coefficient of correlation using Karl Pearson's method, which we discussed in the skewness method also, and also finally we are going to understand how do we solve a problem and find the rank of a correlation. So, already defined what is correlation. Now, let us understand what are the types of correlations. So, the different types of correlations are positive correlations. See, when I consider the two set of data, if both the set of data, that is the variations of both the sets passes or it tends towards in the same direction, then we call it as a positive correlation. For example, let me consider I have a two variable called height and the weight. As the height increases, let us say 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, the weight also can be increased 150, 155 and 156. See, when I see this relation, here both are moving towards the increased strategy, hence it is a positive correlation. So, a positive correlation is a correlation where both the bivariance variables are increasing towards the same direction. Whereas, when I take a negative correlation, if the correlation of two variables moves in an opposite direction, for example, I say demand and price. My demand is increasing with 10%, then 20% of the demand of the product, then 30% demand of the product, and hence the demand increases. Similarly, the price initially it was 90 rupees, when become 20% it would have become 85 rupees, then it is 30% then it would have become 75 rupees. See here, the demand is increasing line, whereas the price is in the decreasing trend line. So, both are moving in a opposite direction, hence we call it as a negative correlation. Suppose if I make a study on only two variables and understand only their relationship, then such correlation we call it as a simple correlation. For example, I need to study on a two important variables, say volume versus pressure. As the volume increases, the pressure may increase or it may decrease based on the level of the or amount of data what you are going to give. So, such kind of study we call it as a simple correlation. Whereas, when I take a multiple correlation, see also I can have a simple correlation. I think if I take my COVID-19 example itself, I have to study only that to understand that how many are people who are affected from COVID. So, I will use only two variables. One is to test the temperature okay, with respect to time. Because I will be checking a regular check, so I have only two variables, so I will check one day what is the temperature, first day, second day what is the temperature, third day what is the temperature. See, now I am concentrating how many variables? I am concentrating only on two variables. What are the variables? The time is a variable and the temperature is another variable. Hence such a relation we call it as a simple correlation. I will take the same example. Now I said about the COVID. Now I have taken only two variables, one is the time and the other one is the temperature. Suppose along with the time, if I take a temperature and also if I take other symptoms variables like cough, breathing problem, all these things I am considering to give a out-end result about the infected or uninfected, infected patient and not infected patients. So to arrive at this solution, so I am using how many variables? More than one variables. So to find a relationship between more than one variables, we call it as a multiple correlation variables. Whereas if I take a variables which is of constant increase, and if I try to plot those values and if you get a straight line, then we call it as a linear correlation. For example, I use two variables, let us say x and y are the two variables. If I give a value say 3, 6, 12, 15, 2, 4, 6, 8. If these are the inputs what I have got from these two variables, and if I try to plot a graph and if I get a graph line as a straight line, so then there is an uniformity in the variation. So such a correlation we call it as a linear correlation. Whereas in a non-linear correlation, the changes of the one variable not necessarily have to reflect on the others. Example, let us take that we have got a rainfall in this year double what we got it in the last year. So in that case, rainfall becomes one variable, okay, and let us take the production of the rice. So rice. So if the rain compared to the year say 2019 and 2020 and say wheat. So as the rainfall increases in 2019, the rice production may also increase, the wheat may not. Whereas in 2020, since the rainfall is more, the rice production may not increase, but wheat might increase or it may not increase. Now, due to this variation, it is not necessarily, it is not that it is must, it might or it may not necessarily have a changes. Such kind of correlation we call it as a non-linear correlation. So this is all about what is correlation and what are the types of correlation. Now in our next thing we will understand the coefficient of correlation, that is how do you calculate the coefficient of this correlation using Karl Pearson's method. Here one thing we have to understand, whenever we get a correlation value, the value what we get will never ever exceed 1. That means the value always lies between -1 and +1. If the value lies within +1, that is a positive, then we call it as such correlation as perfect and positive correlation. If I get -1, it is the range between less than 1, 0, then it is a perfect correlation, but it is a negative. But if it is 0, that means there is no correlation at all exists between the variables. So that we are going to understand this through a problem, and finally we are going to understand about the rank of correlation. Now let's move on to the next problem. Okay, now let us take a problem where we are going to solve the problem to achieve the coefficient of correlation using Karl Pearson method. The formula to solve this is R, which represent the coefficient of correlation, is equal to sigma capital X and capital Y. This you have to remember, it is not small x and small y, it is capital X and capital Y whole divided by square root of sigma capital X square into square root of sigma capital Y square. Alternatively, we also can be written as R is equal to sigma x square plus xy square minus x minus y whole square whole divided by 2x sigma x and sigma y. But we are using this formula, the first formula, to solve our problem. Now let us consider a problem. So we have two variables x and y. The values of variables are tabulated here, that is 10, 14, 18, 22, 26 and 30, and the values of y are tabulated here 18, 12, 24, 36, 30 and 36. Now the first thing is, since we have here the capital X and capital Y, I would be telling you what is this capital X. Capital X is nothing but x, that is whatever the series we have, minus x bar. What is this x bar? X bar is nothing but your mean, your actual mean. So that means x bar is equal to sigma x, that is the summation of all x values divided by n. What do you mean by n? N is the number of terms in the series. So here how many terms we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hence n is equal to 6. Okay. So x bar is equal to sigma x by n, which is equal to, now add all these values, so we get 120. So 120 divided by 6 is equal to 20, which is your actual mean. Okay. Similarly for y series, your actual mean is sigma y by n. So that means you need to add all the y series values, which gives us to 126, and divide by the n, which is equal to 6. So that means 126 divided by 6 is equal to 21. Now we have found what is x bar and we have found what is y bar. But again this is small x bar and small y bar, which represent the actual mean. Now when I take this, the capital X, so as I told you, capital X is nothing but small x minus x bar, which is equal to x minus x bar is what? 20, and y is equal to, that is capital Y is equal to y minus y bar, which is equal to y minus 21. Now let's tabulate. So we have the given data small x, the given data small y. Capital X is x minus 20, which is this, correct, and capital Y is y minus 21, which is this. Okay, this value we have taken it. Now 10 minus 20 is minus 10, 14 minus 20 is 6, 18 minus 20 is minus 2, 22 minus 20 is plus 2, 26 minus 20 is 6, 30 minus 20 is 10. Similarly for capital Y, y minus 21 is minus 3, minus 9, 3, minus 15. Okay. Next we have 9 and 6 minus 21. Okay. Then we have 9 and 15. So this is the tabulated value of capital X and capital Y. We need to find the product of x, y. Why? Because according to the formula, we need to find capital X into capital Y and find the summation of it. So hence we need to find capital X into capital Y. So 10 into 3 30, minus into minus is plus, 6 9s are 54, minus 2 into 3 is minus 6, 2 into minus 15 is minus 30, 6 9s are 54, 10 into 15 is 150. Now the next part of the formula is capital X square. So hence you need to square the capital X value, that is minus 10 square is 100, minus 6 square is 36, 4, 4, 36 and 100. Similarly you need to find the squaring of capital Y, which is minus 3 is 9, minus 9 is 81, 3 square is 9, 15 square is 225, 9 square is 81, again 15 square is 225. So these are all tabulated value which can be used in applying the formula. Now from this tabulated value, so we'll be getting the sigma xy, that is the summation of all these terms, which is equal to 252. Then we'll be getting sigma x square, that is the summation of all these values, which is equal to 280. Then we'll be getting this value, that is the summation of capital Y square, which is equal to 630. Now substitute the value. So you substitute 252 here, then 280 here, and then 630. So when I substitute the value, I get this, which is equal to 252 divided by 16.73 into 25.09, which is equal to 0.6003. Now please make a note. Here, as I mentioned, the coefficient of the correlation has lied between -1 to +1 only. So we have got here 0.6003, which is the plus. That means we have got the perfect correlation and it is positive. Hence, this is the method to solve the correlation, the coefficient of correlation using Karl Pearson's method. Thank you. Now let's move on to the next one, which is a rank of correlation. Okay, we'll move on to the next topic, the rank of correlation. So when I consider a rank of correlation, the formula is 1 minus 6 sigma d square divided by n into n square minus 1, where d reference the difference between the rank of two bivariant variables and where n stands for the number of terms in the series. So let's understand this concept through a problem. I had given you one problem where we have two variables x and y, which has been tabulated here. So x has the series 42, 68, 92, 48, 81, 52, 39, 78, 22 and 11. Y being 32, 52, 82, 62, 72, 94, 22, 92, 12 and 14. Now let's tabulate this. See, now I have tabulated the x values here and I have tabulated the y values here. Now, how do I find the rank of x? So whenever I want to find the rank of x, first I have to identify the highest number or the biggest number in the series. So in this series, which is our biggest number? It is 92. So we have to start from 92. Hence, I label the rank of this particular term is 1. Now, after labeling it 1, find out the next highest number. So the next highest number is, if you consider in this series, it is 81. Hence, the next rank is 2. Now find out the third highest number, which is 78. So this is rank 3. Fourth, it is 68. So hence rank 4. Fifth, it is 52. Hence rank 5. Sixth, it is 48 in the series, hence 6. Seventh, it is 42 in the series, so hence the rank is 7th. Eighth highest, it is 39, hence it is 39. Ninth highest is 22 and the 10th highest is 11. So now I have tabulated all the rank value based on its descending order, that is from the highest to the lowest order of the arrangement. Similarly, I have to do with respect to y also. Now I have a y values. Now first thing is we have to identify the largest value in the y series. So here 94 is the largest value in the y series, hence I label it as 1. And the next one is, it is 92, hence it is 2. So we have 1, we have 2. The third highest is 82, 3, then the fourth highest is 72, hence 4. Fifth highest is 62, so 5. Then sixth is again 52 here, 6. Then seventh is 32, 7. Eighth one is 22, so 8. Ninth one is 14, so 9. The 10th highest is 12, so hence 10. So again we have tabulated the rank x values as well as rank y value. Now we need to find the d. So d is nothing but the difference between the rank x and rank y. So when I minus it, that is 7 minus 7, which is equal to 0. When I consider this, this is 4 minus 6, which is equal to minus 2. Here 1 minus 3 is minus 2. 6 minus 5, 1. 5 minus 1, 4. 8 minus 8 is 0. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 9 minus 10 is minus 1. 10 minus 9 is positive 1. Now take the square of D. Why? Because according to our formula, we need D square. So that is summation of D square. Hence we need to find the square of a D. So 0 square, 2 square is 4, it is minus 2 square is 4, minus 2 square is again a 4, 1, 4, 16, it is 4 square is 16, 0, 1, 1, 1. Once everything is done, find the summation. So when we add everything, so the answer what I get is 32. Now substitute the value in the given formula, which is 1 minus 6 sigma d square by n into n square minus 1. So 1 minus 6 sigma d square is 32. N, as I told you, n is nothing but the number of terms in the series. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So totally there are 10. So n is equal to 10. 10 square is 100. 100 minus 1 is 99. So substitute everything. So the final answer what I get is 1 minus 0.193, which is equal to 0.807. So this is a rank of correlation. So one thing we have to understand, that these again the rank of correlation always lies between plus 1 and minus 1. If the value lies in the range of plus 1, then I will tell that it has a complete agreement on the rank of coefficient. Suppose if the rank lies on minus 1, then it is a disagreement in the order of the rank. Hope you have understood the concept of rank of correlation with respect to the formula as well as the coefficient of correlation using a Karl Pearson method. Thank you.